everybody, it's Nicola here and welcome to a bookish video. So today's video is, say it with me, it's Bookgammon time! Yes, this is where I use the game Bookgammon, which is a play on the game Backgammon to help me pick my TBR for the following month. And in this case, we will be picking the books for April. So, Bookgammon was rather mean to me last month, wasn't she just? Didn't you enjoy it? The joy you lot seem to get from my pain, I don't know whether to be offended or not. To be honest, I like it when she's mean. Does that make me a masochist or something? I don't know. But yeah, we'll put her down because she gets noisy. So yeah, last month Bookgammon gave me 24 books on my TBR, and I don't give myself a punishment if I don't read all those books because I think 24 books is enough of a punishment. But I do try and use the books that I don't get to within that month as priority picks for the next month. And we do, surprise, surprise, have some priority picks for April. So the first of those is Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. I'm really deeply upset that I didn't get to this, although there is about a week left of the month at the time of filming. So, I mean, if I can't get this as a priority pick onto my April TBR, then I might be able to fit it in before the end of the month. I might not. I have like lined up what books I do want to finish before the end of the month, and so I've kept those back. But if I finish those books earlier than I expect to, then this will be picked up before the end of the month. But because it's a beautiful mermaid book, so yeah. Sadly, I didn't get to that one. The next one I didn't get to. Surprise, surprise, anybody surprised? No. A Cavern of Black Ice by J.V. Jones. Didn't pick this one up. To be fair, this one intimidates me, so I kind of did leave it till last. Another one that intimidates me because of its size and because it's non-fiction is Romantic Outlaws, The Extraordinary Lives of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley by Charlotte Gordon. Again, like, it just intimidates me and it scares me so much. I should have picked this one up, but because I'm still working my way through Athelstan by Tom Holland, which is a non-fiction about the first king of Great Britain, I kind of didn't want to pick up another non-fiction until I finished Athelstan, which is leftover from February. So yeah, I was kind of stuck with this one. But it was a TBR mug pick, so the slips of the TBR mug, the slips from the TBR mug picks will be going back into the TBR mug, so they may get picked out again if we get TBR mug again. So yeah, didn't read that one. And then the last one, I kind of didn't pick this one up. This is Cinder by Marissa Mayer. I didn't pick this one up because I'm trying to focus on continuing the series that I've already got started, and I don't really want to be starting new series. And yeah, so I didn't pick this one up because I didn't want to get the negative points on my point system for starting a new series. So yeah, that's why I didn't pick this one up, because I knew it would give me negative points on my point system. So yeah, that one that didn't get picked either. And then the two Fairy Loot books that I had on, the first being A River of Royal Blood and the next one being The Prison Healer. I was hoping to prioritise these for the end of March, so this coming up week. However, the Magical Readathon was announced just yesterday as I'm filming, and these two books fill a couple of the prompts that I need. So I decided that instead of reading these for the end of March, I'm going to hold on to these for my Magical Readathon TBR. So spoiler alert for my Magical Readathon TBR, which I will do a separate video for, which will probably go up after this one. But yeah, I decided that instead of trying to get these two read, I would put these on the Magical Readathon TBR. So yeah, those are for next month. Okay, so on to the next point of business. We have our bomb token and our star token. So these are the books that, the bomb book is one I really don't want to read and I'm kind of intimidated by, and it's one that I keep putting off reading. And the star book is the book that I really want to read. Like, I want to read this right now. I want to drop my TBR and pick this book up and read it because I'm so excited for it. So let's go for the bomb book first, shall we? So the bomb book for the month of April is The Deck of Omens by Christine Lynn Herman. Now you might say, Nicola, why is that a bomb book? Have you really been scared of it? This is on the same lines as Muse of Nightmares was by Laini Taylor. This is the second book in a duology that I still haven't read. And the reason why this is a bomb book is because I read the first book, The Devouring Grey, back in October 2019. October 2019. So the reason why The Deck of Omens has become my bomb book for April is because I'm going to have to read The Devouring Grey again before I can read The Deck of Omens, because I can't remember what happened. I know that in The Devouring Grey, it's a story about a teenage girl who moves back to her mum's hometown with her mum, and her mum is part of one of the founding families of the town, and the founding families have some kind of magic between them that helps to stop the Devouring Grey. And the Devouring Grey is this kind of misty, foggy area outside of their town that if you go into the grey, you don't come back out, or you do, but you're not the same. Something, yeah. Bodies start to appear in the woods and the locals become downright hostile. So yeah, it's only a duology. Why is it taking me 3 years? And the thing is, I bought this when it first came out. How do I know that? Because it's got sprayed edges. Because it's a first edition sprayed edges edition. So I know that I purchased this when this came out. When did this come out? When did The Deck of Omens come out? I will tell you. It came out on April 2020. So within a year of reading this, this came out, I purchased it, and then it has sat on my shelves ever since. So The Deck of Omens is my bomb book because I have to read The Devouring Grey first and then The Deck of Omens. So let's hope I don't land on the bomb book token, because that will put 2 books onto my TBR. What's the betting? That Bookgammon's going to be mean to me again. But the star token, the book that I really do want to read, I really want to read this. I really want to read this. This is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I have been eyeing this book for years, absolute years, since I read The Sorcery of Thorns. And that was a Fairy Loot box book. And I really enjoyed it, like really enjoyed that one. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it's not as good as her Enchantment of Ravens. And I looked this up and I was like, I want to purchase that. I want that on my TBR. And I have been umming and ahhing about this book for so long. Well, not umming and ahhing, because I wanted this book. I just never physically went out and purchased it. Well, I gave in this month, even though I was supposed to be on a book buying ban. We'll talk about that in another video. Yeah, that book buying thing that that Bookgammon did to me last month we'll discuss that in another video. But I gave in and I purchased an Enchantment of Ravens, and so now that I finally have this in my hands, I desperately want to read this. So yeah, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we land on the star token for Bookgammon this month, because I have been dying for this. I'm so excited for it. It's about I think she's human, and she paints the Fae folk. But unfortunately, when Rook, the Autumn Prince, commissions her to do a painting of him, she makes a deadly mistake and she paints mortal sorrow in his eyes, a weakness that could cost him his throne and even his life. So yes, Fae. I'm getting not the Hollow Prince, the Cruel Prince vibes with this, and I'm so excited for it because I love those stories. Like they really excite me. I love those stories. So yeah, this is my star book, and the Deck of Omens and the Devouring Grey are my bomb books. So with all of that house maintenance done, let's get into the gameplay and see. Oh, I'm so scared. Like, please, I'm praying to the Bookgammon TBR gods. Please don't give me any odd doubles this time. No, I can't do that again, please. And I know you lot, stop praying for it. Anyway, roll gameplay. Okay, so we have a reminder of what all the colours are. Red is for thriller, pink is contemporary, orange is classic, green is middle grade, yellow is graphic novels and mangas, purple is non-fiction, and blue is fantasy and sci-fi. First things first, let's place our star token and bomb token. Let's go with the bomb token first this month. So I have my random number generator, and the bomb token will go on space 12. So 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that is going on the classic space, and our star token is going on space number 3. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's good news. So we have our prompt cards here. I'm going to give them a quick shuffle. Badly, I swear I can shuffle normal cards. That didn't go to plan, did it? Okay, and we have 2 tokens that we will be playing with. We have 2 dice, our shaker. So let's go for round 1. Ooh, now this is 3, but we move our pieces separately. So one piece goes on space 1 and one piece goes on space 2. So 1, 2. So we have an ebook and a manga or graphic novel. So the ebook is any ebook, and the manga or graphic novel has a shape on the cover or spine. Okay. Roll number 2. Can I get that star book? Oh, thought that was another odd double. Nope, we have 3 and a 5, so we're passing the star book, but I am going to leave it on there because, as one of my lovely subscribers pointed out, if we do travel backwards, there may still be a chance that I land on the star book. So we leave the tokens on the board until I land on one of them. Ooh, okay, I'm going to go this one 3. 1, 2, 3, so that is a thriller. And this one 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a thriller and a middle grade. So the thriller is a quiet word in the title. Okay, like shh or whisper or silent or something like that. And then the middle grade is a body part in the title. Okay, roll number 3. A 2 and a 4. Okay. I'm going to move this one 2. 1, 2. So that lands on a fantasy, and this one 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a fantasy and a contemporary. So the contemporary is popular on YouTube, and the fantasy is a mermaid book. Yay! My favourite. Roll number 4. A 3 or a 1. Oh no. I'm gonna have to do it, aren't I? Oh no. I would do this if it was the star book, wouldn't I? So I guess I'm gonna have to. 1, 2, 3. So we've landed on the bomb book. So we are reading the bomb book for the month of April, which means we take the star book off the thing. And then this one moves 1, so that is a contemporary. So we don't need to pull a prompt for this one, just for the contemporary. And the contemporary prompt has a Netflix movie. So any book that has a Netflix movie. Oh, roll number 5. 3 and a 1 again. Let's go for a 1 here, and then 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Now, because these are both orange, that means only 1 prompt. So we're going to be clever here. No, we're not, because look what the prompt is for classic. The longest on my TBR. Trying to be clever, and I've ended up with the longest book on my classic TBR. That'll teach me. Roll number 6. A 5 and a 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to move this one 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a fantasy, and this one 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a fantasy and a thriller. So the thriller is a Books with Lala recommendation. So Books with Lala is a channel, and she's well known for her thriller recommendations. So that is, I will have to watch one of her videos and see if there's any thrillers on there that she recommends that I'm interested in reading. And the fantasy is set on a type of transport. So car, ship, train, anything like that. So yeah, we will be picking one of those. Roll number 7. Oh, I thought that was another double then. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one 1 and this one 2. So we have a thriller and a middle grade. So the thriller is a book I know nothing about. And then I'm getting all the big books. The middle grade is over 450 pages. So I guess in April I'm reading some very big books. So those are the prompts. So roll number 8. Can we get home? Ooh, one of us can. Okay. Do I go for another classic or another middle grade? Well, you know what? Middle grades are easier. So I will take this one home. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's home. And then I will move this one space. So we're going to have a middle grade. And that is a book with animal characters. So they don't have to be the main character, but they do have to have an animal character in the story. And we only have one piece, So we only need 1 dice. Can I get it home? Roll number 9. Nope. So we're going to read a classic anyway. So the classic prompt is a book with a wealthy character. So maybe a Jane Austen novel, maybe not. But yeah, a character who's quite wealthy, a Mr. Darcy kind of character, if you will. Roll number 10. 4, and we are home. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is it. We are finished with Bookgammon for another month. So that was it. That was the gameplay. There was no doubles, which was great. But we landed on the bomb book, didn't we? We bloody landed on the bomb book. And we got some big books on there. Like, I just... Why? Why does she enjoy my pain? Why? So, let's get into it. There are 15 books, or technically 16 books, because there's 2 books for the bomb books, that we need to read. Yeah, let's get into it. So, for rule number 1, our first prompt was a manga or graphic novel. And the prompt for that was, has a shape on the cover or spine. So for that one, I have gone for Alice in the Country of Hearts. So it is a graphic novel. And on the spine, there is a heart. Can you see that? Heart. So yeah, I have no idea about this. Alice is having a nap in her garden when suddenly before her there appears a young man with rabbit ears. He whisks her away to a fantastic but dangerous world that seems straight out of a fairy tale, but one where every resident brandishes a weapon. Will Alice ever find her way back home? So yeah, I guess it's the manga version of Alice in Wonderland, but mangified. The next prompt for roll number 1 was an ebook. So for that one, I forgot to mention earlier that I did not get to one of my ebooks for March, and that is The Bridge Kingdom. So I am going to be reading that on my Amazon Fire through Kindle Unlimited. So yes, that is the book for the ebook. For roll number 2, the first prompt was a thriller. Quiet word in the title. Now I did look all over, on my 2 shelves of thrillers. However, I could not find a thriller on my shelves that had a quiet word in the title. I did think about kind of fudging one to fit, and I still might, because then at least it would get that one read. It is Forget My Name, called Forget My Name. I can't see who the author is because I haven't got my glasses on. But the way I was going to fudge that was, if you forget someone's name, then you don't say it. Therefore, you're silent. Let me know if I can get away with that one, because if I can, I will read Forget My Name, and I'll put the author on the title screen here. If not, I have on my library's BorrowBox app, I've downloaded the story Silent Child, which is the story of a young child who goes missing, and his red coat is fished out of the river, and the mother believes that her son has drowned. Only 10 years later, her son appears, and he's obviously traumatized by what he's been through for the last 10 years because he was actually kidnapped by someone in the local area. So his mother has to deal with not only having a teenager who's been traumatized by whatever he's been through, but also having to try and figure out who took him whilst living her life that she's moved on. She's kind of pregnant with a new baby, I believe, and she's finally got her life back together after living through the trauma of believing that her child was dead. So yeah, sounds interesting. I might still read it anyway. Which one do you think I should read? The Forget My Name I believe that's about a woman who, I think she has a little bit of an accident or something, and when she wakes up, she makes her way back to her home only to find somebody else living there, and they claim that they've never even heard of her and they've been living in that house for years. So she's like, but I live here. And they're like, no, you don't, we do. So yeah, there's obviously something going on there as well. So let me know which one you think I should read. Forget My Name, the girl who turns up to her own house and finds somebody else living there, or Silent Child, where a child goes missing and then 10 years later comes back and the mother has to deal with her traumatized child and also who kidnapped her child in the first place. Let me know. The second prompt for roll two was a middle grade with, and the prompt for that was a body part in the title. So for that one, I'm going to be reading The Thief on the Winged Horse by Kate Mascarenas. This one. I believe wings are a body part. Go with me. Wings, they're a body part. They're on his body. Like, that's a body part. So yeah, this is the story of the Kendricks, who've been making world famous dolls for over 200 years, but their dolls aren't coveted for the craftsmanship alone. Each has an emotion laid on it, a magic that can provoke bucolic bliss or consuming paranoia at a single touch. Persephone Kendrick longs to learn her ancestors' craft, but only men may know the secrets of the workshop. So when a handsome stranger arrives claiming doll-making talent and blood ties to the family, she sees a chance to grasp all she desires. So that is that one. I'm very interested because that sounds a very dark kind of synopsis. However, it's a middle grade. How dark can it go? So yeah, I'm very intrigued by this one. For roll number 3, we got a fantasy and we got a mermaid book. Now, I'm not 100% sure this is a mermaid book, but everything points to there being mermaids in here, possibly. And that is Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. Now, I was deeply disappointed because I stopped my Fairy Loot subscription back in December last year, and this was the January book for Fairy Loot. And I thought, it looks okay, but I'm not particularly interested. But then I watched people's unboxing of the January Fairy Loot, and when they uncovered the hardback cover, there was an embossing picture, beautiful as always, and there was a mermaid on it. There was a mermaid in the picture on the embossed hardback. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? That's a mermaid book? Really? So I was really gutted that I didn't at least keep my Fairy Loot for one more month, and I would have got a beautiful edition of this book. But anyway, I went out and bought it at Waterstones instead and got the points. So, on this compass here, there's a lot of different mythical creatures, but if you look right there, that's a mermaid. And if you look inside on the end papers, that's a mermaid. So I'm guessing there might be mermaids in here. It says on the back, don't forget the rule, no one can know what we are, what you are. You must never tell anyone about monsters. So I'm hoping that this is a story about a girl who's actually a mermaid or siren, and she has to keep her identity hidden because there's a boy that she likes, but he turns out to be a monster hunter. A legendary monster slayer who will do anything to bring them down. So yeah, I'm wondering if he's like a siren killer or something like that. I'm getting kind of To Kill a Kingdom kind of vibes from this. So yeah, I need to reread that book. Anyway, so I'm hoping this is a mermaid book. Not sure, but I want to read it just to find out because the intrigue is killing me. So yeah, Only a Monster. And the second prompt for roll 3 was a contemporary, and that is one that is popular on YouTube. So again, I'm going back to my Amazon fight. It's going to get a lot of use in the month of April. I do have a ebook of the book The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Now, it might not be that popular on YouTube now, but I did download it onto my Amazon Firebook because I'd seen it talked a lot about when it first came out. A lot of people were reading it, a lot of people were loving it, and so I downloaded it onto my Amazon Fire Kindle app, and it's been sat there ever since because I don't read contemporaries very often. But I have it, so I'm going to read it. So that's for that prompt. Of course, when we get to roll 4, I landed on the bomb book. I landed on the bomb token. So I'm reading these two. I really should. They've been staring at me. Since I read Muse of Nightmares, this one's been going, hello, I'm over here. Read me. Read me. You know you want to. You know you should. So, to stop that little voice, because it's annoying, I'm going to read these. 2 books. I love this game. I do. I love it so much. Yay. And for the second prompt for roll 4 was another contemporary, and this one has a Netflix movie. And again, going back to this, the reason why is because I don't have many contemporaries left. I only have one shelf of contemporaries, and there's not many books on that shelf. Most of them are Mills and Boon, let's be honest. So, so when it comes to my choices of contemporaries, I'm a little bit stuck. So we're going back to my Kindle, and we're going back to BorrowBox, my library app, and I'm going to be reading 9 Perfect Strangers. I will put the author on the screen. This one is technically, for me, a thriller, but it was in the contemporary list. So I clicked on genre contemporaries, and it pulled up 9 Perfect Strangers, along with some other books. But yeah, it was pulling up more thrillers rather than like what I call contemporaries, which are like, you know, romance books and things like that, you know, The Hating Game and things like that. I call them kind of contemporaries. But yeah, 9 Perfect Strangers, it definitely has a Netflix thing or some kind of thing, because it pulled up the actual like picture from the adaptation, so for the book cover. So it's definitely had an adaptation. Whether it's a Netflix one, I didn't really check actually, but it has an adaptation to screen, so I'm choosing it. So 9 Perfect Strangers, I think by somebody Moriarty, I think was the author. Anyway, that's that one. Okay, on to roll number 5. Tried to be clever for this one, didn't I? Tried to be clever, completely backfired. We got a contemporary, and I had to pick the longest on my TBR. And the longest one on my TBR is this long. It's a Vintage Grimm, The Complete Fairy Tales. So this is the complete collection of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. Now, the Brothers Grimm were a German couple of brothers who didn't write their own stories. What they did was they travelled around Germany and Europe to collect stories from the local people. And then what they did was they collated them, they edited them, and then they put them into collections that they put into print. So, yes, there's an overload of them. I mean, to be fair, the book is floppy, and it sits beautifully when you hold it like that. So, publishers, please note, not that any will be watching my channel, but if you're going to publish a large paperback like this, put it in a floppy spine, because it just makes it so much easier to read. But yeah, There is already a bookmark in here, but it's literally still in the introduction of this book because I was trying to make my way through it slowly, extremely slowly. And then there's also a tab here because I read a book that was based on the 12 Dancing Princesses story, and that is story number 133 in here. Was that 133? Yeah. So yeah, so the worn out dancing shoes, that was about the 12 daughters of the king who went out dancing every night through a magical door. So yeah, so I'm going to be reading that one. For roll 6, the first prompt was fantasy, and that was set on a type of transport. So for that one, I may regret this decision, but I'm going to pick Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch, which is the second book of the Gentleman Bastard series, the first book being The Lies of Loch Lamora. This is one of the series that I want to get up to date with this year. I believe there's only 3 books published so far, and I have all 3 of those books. I read the first book, The Lies of Loch Lamora, last year, and I put the second book onto my TBR the following month, fully intending to get to it. Didn't get to it, put it back on my shelves, and it's been sat there ever since. So even though she is a chunker, I do want to get to this, and the type of transport that this book is set on are the ships. I believe that this one is like pirate based, and that's why I was mostly interested in this series, because I love me a good pirate ship setting, story, and everything like that. So yeah, we're going to be reading Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch for that one. Even though I already have some chunkers on this list, but we're going to go with it anyway. The second prompt for that roll 6 was a thriller, and that was a book with Lala recommends. So I watched a couple of videos on her channel, Books and Lala, sorry, and the one that I came up with was from her reading wrap up for January this year, and in that she talks about the Shauna Maguire book Where All the Drowned Girls Go, I believe, or something like that. Now this is a series that I have started before. So the first book is Every Heart a Doorway. I believe that I have listened to the audiobooks of books 1, 2 and 3, and I think I've listened to the 4th one, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think I listened to the audiobooks back in 2019. So it has been a really, really long time. And the way that Lala was speaking about the 7th book, which she read in January, Where All the Drowned Girls Go, I think it is, that's a mermaid one. And I'm like, oh, it's a mermaid book? So if you don't know, Every Heart a Doorway is a book series, is the first book in a series that Shauna Maguire writes about a school for children who have been to other worlds and then come back to the real world. So think Alice in Wonderland, think the children who go to Narnia and things like that. What happens to those children when they come back into the real world and they have to deal with real life, and they're talking about these strange whimsical lands that they've gone to and nobody's going to believe them. What happens to them? And this story series is about what happens to those children. And it's one of those series that I've been meaning to purchase the hardback copies of these books, because listening to the audiobook, I felt like I kind of missed some of the magic. They are only novellas, so they are short books, which I could really do with. So yeah, I'm going to treat myself and use this as an excuse to finally start collecting the series in hard copy form. So yeah, I'm going to purchase Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire to read for this prompt. For roll number 7, the first prompt was a thriller, and that was a book I know nothing about. And for that one, I'm going with a Jo Nesbø short story. This is Blood on Snow, and it looks like that. It is a short one like this. It is literally less than 200 pages. I know nothing about it. All I know is one hitman and 2 big problems, because it doesn't really tell you much on the back. Like, that's what it says on the back. And with it being a paperback, there's nothing on the inside to tell me. So it just says Olav lives the lonely life of a fixer. So yeah, doesn't really say much about it. I have both loved and hated Jo Nesbø's writing. I've read The Snowman by him. I believe it's a boy. I believe it's Jo Nesbø is a male author. I'll have to look that up. But I have read The Snowman by Jo Nesbø and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I tried to read, is it the Batman book by him, and I wasn't so keen on it. It just didn't seem to go anywhere or do anything. So I've both loved and disliked his writing. So I'm going to see if I like his shorter books. So that's that one. And the second prompt for roll number 7 was a middle grade, and that prompt was over 450 pages, because as if we didn't have enough big books on this TBR. So I did start to read this last year, but DNF'd it, put it to the side, because I do really want to try and finish it. But then I've taken out my bookmark. So I don't know where I got to. I could probably flick through and find where I was last, but I'm probably going to just restart it. And that's one of the Twisted Tales. You can see it there. Part of Your World from Disney. What if Ariel had never defeated Ursula? So that's what it looks like. So yeah, I'm going to attempt to read this. Roll number 8, we got one of our pieces home. So there was only one prompt for this roll, and that was a middle grade, and this one was to have animal characters. So for that one, I went with some awesome animal characters. Dragons. Yeah. So this is Dragonstorm, Thomas and Ironskin by Alistair Chisholm. This is the first in one of his new series. I have book 1 and 2, and I believe books 3 and 4 are coming out this year. This is an extremely low grade, middle grade. So you have these beautiful artworks, and then the spacing of the words, you know, is so big. There's going to be, it's going to take an hour or two to finish this. It is what, 140 pages. It's going to take maybe 2 hours at the most to read this, probably quicker. But I might also sit and read this with my husband as well, maybe, because I know he loves dragons so much, and I think he might enjoy this story. And then our last roll, roll number 9, we got another classic, and for that one I had to read a book with a wealthy character in, and I couldn't think of anything more wealthy than maybe a Sir Henry Baskerville, the new master of the Baskerville estate. So I'm gonna hopefully read The Hound of the Baskervilles and The Valley of Fear by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So yeah, a Sherlock Holmes story, I think. Is it Sherlock Holmes? Yeah. Sherlock Holmes' arch enemy, the criminal genius Professor Moriarty, is back. But the solution to the riddle, found after many surprising twists and high dramas, lies far away, half across the world, in a location known as the Valley of Fear. This is Conan Doyle's last Holmes novel, and in the opinion of many of his fans, it is the best. I guess that's the Valley of Fear story rather than the Hound of the Baskervilles. So there's 2 of his stories in here. Oh, there's some artwork as well. Ah, so pretty. So yeah, I will be hopefully reading this as well for the month. So that is it. That is my stack of 15. Sorry, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 physical books, and I believe 2 ebooks and 2 audiobooks. that I'm going to be listening to for this round of Bookgammon. It's okay. I'm fine. I will be fine. But of course, I don't just read my Bookgammon TBR every month. I have a buddy read with my good friend Charlotte every month, and we put this off last month because Bookgammon gave me 24 books. But we're gonna go back to it. We're moving on to Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashore, which is the third book in the Graceling series. We've read book 1 and book 2 in previous months. In the month of March, we read something else, only because it was already on my TBR and she had a copy, so we both read it together. But this month, for April, we're going to go back to the Graceling series and we're going to read Bitter Blue. She is a chonker, she's over 500 pages, and it's not like I need another 500 plus page book on my book TBR, but like I said to Charlotte, and Charlotte is aware because she even said to me as well, look, if you want to delay it for another month, we can. But again, I won't know what my TBR is going to be like in May. So I said to Charlotte that what I'll do is I'm going to try and make sure that first of all, my Magical Readathon TBR is read. And then once I've done that, and I've read a couple of my Bookgammon TBR books, maybe leaving this till the last week of April when I will know whether I can fit it in or not, how well I'm doing with Bookgammon TBR. And yeah, so this is potentially on my TBR for April, but both Charlotte and I are giving us an allowance to say maybe we might push it back to May. So yeah, that is also on the TBR. Okay, so I will be taking part in another readathon other than the Magical Readathon in the month of April. It's going to be more low-key, just that any book that I read will be input into the Realmathon. It's hosted by Covers with Cassidy. I will link her channel for you in the description box down below, with a link to the Realmathon announcement video that she has put up. And there is a sign-up form, which I will be doing. And it says, 4 realms have reached a magic tipping point. Only one magic will stay standing. Pledge your magic to a realm and let's start reading. So I believe there are 4 realms. There is Escana, which is a snow-covered mountain range, and it's dark and miserable and cold. Then you have Serene, which is a water-based realm, which is the one I will be joining because obviously water, mermaids, like I could be a mermaid in the water. And then there's Bale, which is a forest covered side of the realm. And then there is Calamis, which is the desert part of the realm. And it was actually one of my lovely subscribers, thank you very much Karen, for putting me on to this readathon, because yes, most definitely I would like to take part. So there are prompts, kind of. Leave it up to Cassidy to explain everything for you. So yeah, she will explain it for you better. But basically, I'm going to low-key be taking part in that. So every book that I read throughout the month of April, I will be going on to the form, inputting the book I've read and seeing which prompts it will cover, and whether those prompts will be negative towards another team or positive towards mine. So yeah, so that is basically everything I'm going to be doing in April. As I say, my Magical Readathon TBR will be done in a separate video for you, which will be going up after this one. So do check it out if you are interested in what I'm going to be reading for the Magical Readathon, hosted by G from the Book Race channel. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!